Good morning. My name is Allison Fenton, and I hear that you have made the fantastic decision to go ahead with a 2025 Subaru Forester Premier package. I'm going to take the next few minutes and walk you through all the features and controls of the vehicle. As you know, the Premier is the top package, so it's going to be the same engine and the same transmission as the other packages of Forester, but you have all of the bells and whistles that are offered. So we do have the 19-inch wheels, so this will be with an all-season tire, the two-tone wheel. It is also, you will notice on this model behind me, which is in our showroom, I'm keeping dry today, it's raining, there's the low-profile roof rails. So this combination is on the Sport package and the Premier, as well as the Premier Hybrid, but it gives a little bit of a more urban aesthetic. Taking a little walk around the outside, if we look at the front of the vehicle, we do have the front bumper mounted camera, which is wonderful for if you are off-roading or even for your parking lots. Your block heater, since we live in Manitoba, it is zip tied out front where it's nice and easy. You've got your LED fog lights and of course the standard LED steering responsive headlights. We've got your gloss black side mirrors that do have your integrated turn signals. It's just a nice clean outside. And your fuel door is on your passenger side. There's no release inside the car. It is just a push-pop release. This is a regular 87 unleaded. You don't have to do premium in this, with a new badging and the bigger back corner lights or windows. And of course, you have the safety features of the reverse automatic braking, the rear cross traffic alert, the eyesight, which is your forward facing camera, which is standard, also the blind spot detection. One of the things that Forester, of course, is known for is the vertical height of the cabin. So when you are getting into the vehicle, if we have any clients with any mobility issues or they're very tall or very petite, this makes it very easy to get in without having to be climbing up or climbing down into a vehicle. And as I mentioned, this will have the blind spot detection, which is going to be an orange light that will pop up right here when someone is in your blind spot or they are approaching quickly from behind you. Some of the ways you get to enjoy the luxury of a Premier package, of course, is going to remove it and make it more of a neutral position. If we take a look at all the controls on your driver's door, we do have your mirror controls, these are all quite standard across the lineup, but you can turn to the left or the right, and then you're just going to push in whichever direction for your mirror adjustments. This is your locker unlock, your auto front windows, back windows, and then this is your child window lock. So if you do push this in, it means only the driver is going to be able to adjust those window settings. You also have this wrap to be protected in the gloss black. You do have the memory seat settings. So for setting those, it's quite easy. You're going to press and hold set, and once you've adjusted your seat to where you want, you then add in, pushing the 1 or 2 until it beeps. That's quick and easy, and you can of course overwrite those as many times as you want. Talking about the interior of the Premier package, you do have the option of the brown or the black seating. So the brown is effectively a two-tone. From the Limited to the Premier, you do add in these soft, lovely ultra suede inserts in the front seat and back seat bolsters. It is an amazing soft touch and also helps your car feel a little more custom fit. The buttons just to the left of the steering wheel, it's a nice clean layout. So you do have your power tailgate opening here. So press and hold until it beeps. To open, you can stop and you can close. To the right of that is going to be the brightness for your gauge clusters. And then with the new redesign, there is the hands-free tailgate opening. This is to have that enabled or disabled. So when the button is out flush, it means you can do that hands-free tailgate opening and you can push in to disable it. Below here is the fuse panel, and then your hood release is tucked back here a little farther back than you might expect. As I mentioned earlier, the hands-free tailgate opening is one of the new features for the redesign of the Forester. Keep in mind you do have to have your proximity key with you on your person. It can be in your pocket, your bag, or in your hand. But when you're wanting to open the trunk, keeping in mind it is central to the Subaru logo, you're just going to be able to do a kick. Quick and easy, a nice fast opening time, smooth. You also do have the ability to set a memory tailgate setting. I'll be going through that when we do the interior controls if you do have a low-ceilinged garage or parking space. You also have the ability to use the same motion for closing the tailgate. Again, you're just going to do an upward kick. You'll then hear 3 beeps and it'll close. This is going to allow you time to get the process starting, gather your groceries or whatever you're needing to take out of the back of the trunk, and then be out of the way before it closes. The other more standard ways for you to open your trunk are also available. On your key fob, the top button is your lock. The logo itself is unlock. If you press that once, it'll unlock the driver's door. If you double click it, it'll unlock all doors. Below that is your trunk release. So if you press and hold until it beeps, your trunk will open. Again, you can also use it to stop and to close. The physical button on the tailgate itself is also always there for your convenience. Right under the logo, it is a long rubbery button for opening your trunk. Now that we're back at the trunk, we might as well discuss some of the great features in the Forester Premier. Of course, you do have your cargo cover is standard and the cargo area tray standard from factory. You'll have some tie-down hooks. You have a 12-volt power point here, and you have the one-touch fold-down seats. So that means that with just a little flip of a button, you can pop down your back seats. Of course, if you go to Costco, you spend too much, you don't want anyone in the parking lot to know. You also do have some D-rings that are in the front and back on either side that you can flip down if you are needing to tie something down and secure it in the trunk area. One of the great features the Forester is known for is accessibility. So the back doors open almost to 90 degrees. So it's very easy to access. And again, there's a nice opening here for you to be able to get in without any restrictions. Height makes everything very easy as well. Back seats, still got your Napa leather with the ultra suede inserts. You also have heated back seats in the Premier and USB-A and USB-C charging ports and a double seat back pocket. There is the reclining back seats in the Forester as well. I'll show you a little bit better. Reclining back seats are offered in the Forester from the Touring up, and they are a little bit easier to overlook unless you know they're there. So generally tucked right in behind your seatbelt, you're going to see this little loop. Currently, I have this one reclined in a further back position. Just hook your hand into the loop, pull it, and you'll come back into the neutral position. Of course, your Forester Premier does have the center cup holder and armrest. I'll definitely take an opportunity to show the fit and finish of the newly redesigned Forester. But I wanted to note for your passenger seat, limited and premier is when you're going to then have an 8-way power adjust passenger seat, including height adjustment. Let's also discuss how beautifully giant the sunroof is in a Forester. And then there's the Easter eggs, of course. We'll see if you're able to find them all. Little hidden nuggets in the redesigned Forester. Why don't we go through some of your steering wheel controls? If we talk about the right side of the wheel, this is all going to be about your adaptive cruise control. So you enable your cruise with the top right button. Toggle down to set or up to resume is quite standard. What's different than standard cruise is going to be the adaptive component. So of course that means you get to decide how close you are to the vehicle in front of you. You're driving along, nobody's in front of you, you're just going to be going your preset speed, but you can increase or decrease the amount of distance you want to have from you and a car that is driving slower than you in front. So when you enable your cruise, you do get a graphic up in the middle of a car and it'll have lines in front of it. I like to consider one line roughly equivalent to a car length. So do you want to be able to get within a car length, or would you like to be about 4 car lengths before it's overriding your speed? I also note that the car length is increased as you are going faster. You also have new feature, which is lane centering. So you've got the lane departure, which is part of the EyeSight technology, which of course, here is your 2 EyeSight cameras. You've got your mono camera under here for your high beam assist. But if you are using your cruise control and you are driving on a road where it can read both sides of the lane markings, you can opt into lane centering. It's a little more active steering correction from the lane departure, which is going to notify you if you drift out of a lane up to 65 kilometers an hour. If you're going faster than 65, lane departure warning is going to give you just a little nudge back into your lane and then an orange pop-up of lane departure. Choosing lane centering is going to actively make steering adjustments so you don't drift either side out of the lane. Of course, you do have to keep your hands on the wheel. It will yell at you within only a few seconds without any steering input. Below that, you do have your drive modes. So I is intelligent. That is your eco mode. It's going to be your default. You can opt into sport mode if you would like. It's going to make it feel like you're accelerating a little more quickly, going through the gears, a little more fun and sporty. And we all know that's going to mean your fuel efficiency is worse. But when you turn the car off and restart it, it's always going to opt back into that intelligent mode for you. Below that, right here, this is your heated steering wheel. So if you pull that towards you, it'll take less than a minute to heat up the wheel. It heats up everything except for the very top bar here. So if you want to drive like that, there's a penalty. But otherwise, you'll have a super cozy heated steering wheel. On the left side of the wheel, this is all about your stereo controls and hands-free. Some of these buttons with the upgrade to the 11.6-inch infotainment screen, these just make it a little more challenging to use them on the wheel, where it's super easy to use them on the big screen. Source is going to scroll through FM, AM, Sirius XM. This would be for skipping forward tracks or radio stations. At the bottom is your volume. So that has moved from this toggle down here where it was placed in the previous generation. This bottom row of buttons is going to be for answering a phone call, hanging up or muting the radio, and your voice controls. Also, underneath your steering console, if you tuck your left thumb in, that is going to be where you find your tilt and telescoping wheel, and you have a whole lot of functionality there so that you can feel perfectly comfortable. Find your spot, and then it's quite stiff to push up to lock back in. Looking in behind the wheel, this is our windshield wipers. So down is intermittent, low, high. The dial here is going to set your intermittent speed. And then the twist at the end, that is going to be for your back wiper and washer. Keeping in mind the Forester was our first vehicle that rolled out having the back window washer able to rinse off your backup camera. The toggle here is now tied to what is going to be showing above your digital speedometer. So you can scroll through, you can have the amount of fuel saved from using found a way for it to focus. So you can toggle through the amount of fuel saved using your auto start stop. This is your time and distance of last drive, trip meter and distance till empty, and your second trip meter and distance till empty. And then the clock and outside temperature, where I wish it was 21 degrees outside. In fact, it's only balmy in the showroom today. You can have your radio station. You could have your navigation, as you do have the built-in nav in either the limited or premier, and a compass. So this is all of your options. You get to pick what you want, and that will stay even through turn off and restart. Now we have got to your beautiful 11.6-inch vertically mounted infotainment screen. It is going to make your life so nice and easy for all the functionality you need a screen to do. So again, when you get into leather seats with a Forester, you do get the built-in navigation. So this is powered by TomTom. I honestly don't find as many people using navigation since we're all using our Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. But if you're ever needing to travel somewhere and don't want to worry about your data usage, built-in nav is absolutely the way to go for that. Beside that is your radio. So you've got FM, AM, and you do have 3 months free of Sirius XM. Your volume dial is here, and pushing in volume will mute your radio. You can tune to the stereo radio that you want using this dial. And to preset a radio station, you just press and hold until you hear that beep. You can, of course, overwrite them as many times as you want as well. And you do have 18 preset spots. Down below the number 5 is your home button that will take you back to your home screen from any other screen. Next to the radio is media, and because it does have all of the offerings that you would expect, I do find the car is much more intuitive, so therefore you're not having to connect a device and go into media to prompt it over. It just figures out what you're wanting to do. Phone is for connecting your device. Now they actually do walk you right through the process. So you want to add a device, go into your vehicle, the settings icon, select Bluetooth, enable Bluetooth, look for the vehicle that will say Forester, compare the PIN numbers and accept. So while you're searching, it'll pop up and you just say yes to all of the things. It will also then prompt, as long as your phone is compatible, to piggyback onto the wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto that your vehicle is equipped with. Apps is going to show that you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto built in here. Sirius XM Travel Link will be what offers different screens up in here. Generally, it's a weather forecast, and My Subaru. So with your purchase of the new Forester, you do have 3 years free of the My Subaru app. So that is going to be the remote start through the app on your phone. It is not paired to the key. It is app-based only. Also, the remote, the emergency services and the roadside assistance. So that's all free for 3 years. So Subaru is doing more free features for a longer period. That down in the bottom row, we've got settings. So the general screen is going to be all your standard functionality and how you can edit the screens to how you like. You can also have birthdays and anniversaries. You can edit whether you want to be in Celsius, if you want English. All of those options are going to be under general. Sound, of course, every sound that your vehicle has the ability to be adjusted. All of your settings are going to be medium, and you can raise or lower them. Same as your notifications are all going to be set at a medium volume. Then there's navigation. If we tap the arrow, there will be phone, radio, and if we go into car is going to discuss all of your eyesight and your safety features. So eyesight is going to be your pre-collision braking, the adaptive cruise control, the lane departure warning. It also says if you were going to hit resume on your cruise, how quickly are you accelerating. It's set for standard as that's the more economical option, and all of these other features here. This is just your eyesight tab. You also have reverse automatic braking and driver monitoring systems. So in the limited and premier Forester, right above your screen. This is an infrared camera. This is going to be for your driver monitoring system. How you set up driver monitoring: you go into the screen, you're going to select register user. You're going to type in your name, but it will want you to adjust your seat mirrors and then hit set. When it asks you to hit set, you then face forward so that the camera can scan your face and you can then set up your own profile. I'm, of course, driver AA with a leaf, and then you hit set. So now it has scanned. This will mean that when you get into the car, it will scan your face and it'll be able to move your seat, your mirrors, and your climate control. You also have the ability to update update your seat and mirror positions here once you have set up a profile, and you can delete. You also, if you have a couple of drivers that are very different heights, the auto retract seat on entry is a lifesaver setting because no one is then going to be smacking their knees when they get into the car. Keyless entry system. Currently it's going to be set up so that when you walk up to the driver's door with your proximity key in your hand, pocket, or purse, grab hold of the door handle, your driver's door is going to unlock. You might decide that you want it to be set up so that all doors would unlock, and that's just going to be a setting that you can decide to use. Also, we do have the power rear gate. So there is that memory setting, as I mentioned. So if you need a lower than full trunk opening, you would choose to turn this on under your settings and car. And then when you open your trunk, the default for this power rear gate memory setting would be a quarter height opening. You can then manually adjust your tailgate to the height that you want. And then you're going to press and hold both of the buttons at the back of the trunk, which is the lock and tailgate close. Press and hold those until you hear a loud, long beep, and then that memory setting will be recorded for you. And when you want it to go back to having a full tailgate opening, just be sure to come into the car and settings and turn off the memory setting. If we go back to the whole home screen, car info is going to, again, give you information of where the power is going, and you can also have your maintenance reminders. Display off is a great new feature, which means that you can be listening to music while you're driving. If you're worried that the display would be a distraction, this is going to put the screen to sleep. Your music keeps on playing. You can tap the screen and have your climate controls pop up. If you want to turn your screen back on, then you just press and hold the volume until it pops back up. The bottom row, we've got your home button. To the left of it is a grayed out button as the car isn't running. This is your auto start stop feature. So when the car is running, this button will be lit up and it'll have a green light. Auto start stop is the feature that when it meets the conditions, it's fuel efficient to turn off the engine of the vehicle, and then you often won't even notice until you're lifting your foot from the brake. You feel the car shudder a little bit as it restarts and you're back to driving. You can push the button to turn it off. It is a default, and so that means it'll be off for the length of your drive. You do have to turn it back off each time if you're wanting to override it. Beside it is your auto vehicle hold. So that is like a hill brake. It means that if you were at a stop on a steep hill, when you take your foot from the brake to the gas, you could roll backwards. Having the AVH will hold you in place until you put your foot on the gas to release. The car with a circle around it is another shortcut into your vehicle control features. Your X mode, of course, is your all-wheel drive, your 4-low, effectively. You have it as a shortcut up here as well. Snow and dirt is going to move power to whichever wheel has traction. Deep snow and mud will allow your wheels to spin so that you're not getting stuck. Driving assistance will take you back into your safety features, and more settings would be if you were wanting to go into miles per gallon. To the right of the home button is your managing devices. So if you're going to be adding more drivers with cell phones, then that's where you're going to add them in. The bottom section here, this is all your climate controls. So directly below your volume dial, you do have your front defrost, and directly below the tuning, that's your back defrost and your heated mirrors. You also have temperature adjustments. This would be passenger temperature adjustment, and this side is your driver temperature adjustment. I absolutely hit the display off button. You have the ventilated seats in your Premier, heated seats for the driver, on off for your climate control. Fan speed is all the way at the bottom of the screen, nice and easy to get used to so that you're not taking your eyes off the road. Air conditioning, heated and ventilated seat for the passenger. Fan all will be pushing heating or cooling into the back zone. You can see it's indicated by saying all here. If you turn off the all button, then it will be keeping your HVAC more effectively heating or cooling up in the front zone. If you tap this box, it's going to give you this pop-up so that you can adjust temperatures with this slider. Sync your two zones so that you get separate climate control for the driver or passenger, and also the bottom is going to be where the air is blowing. Once you pop up this screen, if you don't touch it for 10 seconds, it is then going to minimize and you won't have to click back out of the screen. It's very nice and convenient. This is all of your climate controls. Also to mention, up at the top left here, this is covering your hazard lights. And to the left here, you also do have this upper screen, weather, common gauges, your navigation, what music you're listening to, and you can choose any of those that fits your needs. If we look above the infotainment screen, we've got your auto-dimming HomeLink mirror. You do have 3 points here that you can pair garage door openers to. So you would just click one button, then you would take your garage door clicker, press and hold so that they can pair. As long as this turns to a solid green button, then it has paired properly. If it goes to a green flashing button, then it means you can pair, but you will need to pair it off of the main garage door unit inside your garage. Going a little bit higher, then we go up into the SOS button and the concierge button. This is for your My Subaru app. So if you do get in an accident, hit the SOS button and you will connect through the stereo system to an operator. They will be able to dispatch the emergency services you need. And the concierge is if you are driving somewhere you're not familiar with, for example, you're low on gas and your phone is dead. You can connect to the concierge system and they will be able to give you directions, for example, to a gas station. You also do have your sunroof controls here, and that will slide back. You can do full or you can do it a partial. And then you have a sunglass holder right here as well. Looking below your infotainment screen, you do have USB-A, USB-C, and an auxiliary plug. You've got the wireless charger here, and it does have an on-off button. So if you're just wanting to use it as a cubby, then just turn off your power. We've got your transmission here, fairly standard. You've got your parking brake here, and then your view button. So if you push view, I turned the power off, so that's unfortunate. If you hit the view button, then it is going to use your 360 cam. So it gives you a walk around view using all of the 360. So this is a new feature with the redesign, and your Premier package is the only one that does have this 360. If I press the view button again, it'll go back to my standard screen. You also do have the 12-volt adapter here, and then you've got your center console with a decent amount of space. Well, thank you for taking the time to go through your brand new 2025 Subaru Forester Premier. I'm so happy I was able to show you the features and controls so that you are all set to take on the road. Again, my name is Allison. I work here at Jim Pattison Subaru South in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I do want to be your go-to Subaru girl for all things in Canada. Have a great day. Please let me know if you have any questions. Reach out with any points. Maybe you want some more information or something. Absolutely here so that you get full enjoyment out of your new vehicle.